In the shadows of time lie forgotten empires, legendary sultans, and untold secrets, where we uncover the rise and fall of great Islamic kingdoms and explore historic battles.
He was very angry with the Muslims of Medina, and because of that, he remained deeply involved in hostility against them. This was their enmity, the fire that burned in his heart. Harming the Muslims had become his objective. After many days, he learned that the Muslims were preparing. As they moved along the route, his pace became faster. A few miles from Uhud, the situation was such that the full strength of the Muslims had gathered. In 625 CE, the Messenger of Allah ordered the companions to march and arrange the army at the foot of the mountain called Uhud. Around 1,000 mujahideen were with him, and they had only 2 horses. When the Muslims were preparing to leave Medina, one person suggested that going outside the city to fight could be harmful. The Messenger of Allah consulted the companions. Later, some people turned back and the number of mujahideen decreased. Now the Muslims were facing a much larger army. The Messenger of Allah organized the mujahideen into battle lines. There was a mountain on one side and open ground on the other. To protect that side, he appointed 50 archers. The commander of the archers was Hazrat Abdullah bin Jubair R.A. The Messenger of Allah instructed them, "Never leave your position whether you see us gaining victory or facing pressure. Remain firm in your place. The high ground must not fall into the enemy's control, because from there the entire battlefield could be observed." Khalid looked at the Muslim formation and realized that the Muslims would not fight in an open field style, but would rely on strategy. Abu Sufyan ordered the cavalry units to attack the Muslims from the sides. Khalid commanded one side while another unit was positioned on the other flank. At that time, the battle flag carried great importance in war. If the flag fell, the army's morale would break and panic could spread. Abu Amir also moved forward. He was among those in Medina who opposed Islam and the Muslims, and he had vowed to drive the Messenger of Allah and the Muslims out of Medina. He had maintained close ties with the Jews and had come under their influence. Then he moved near the battlefield. Many people were with him, but several among them had already accepted Islam. Abu Amir stepped forward and called out, "Do you recognize me? Do you know who I am? Listen to what I have to say." But before he could even finish speaking, the Muslims responded firmly, and his companions began to retreat. On the other side, the Quraysh were waiting for news from the battlefield. They were eager to hear of victory and believed that the Muslims would soon be defeated. The women of Quraysh stood behind the army, singing poems and chants loudly. These verses mention those who had been killed at Badr in order to stir emotions and ignite the desire for revenge. Among those women was Hind, the wife of Abu Sufyan. When permission was given for the women to come forward, Hind mounted a horse and began reciting poetry in a loud voice. Historians mention that these verses were meant to encourage the men to continue fighting and not retreat. Then the Muslims threw stones toward Abu Amir and his companions. Immediately after that, the Quraysh launched a shower of arrows at the Muslims. The Muslims responded with arrows of their own. Khalid attempted to attack the Muslim flank with his cavalry unit, but he did not realize that Muslim archers were stationed on higher ground. His riders advanced confidently. The path was narrow, preventing the cavalry from moving in proper formation. Suddenly, the archers launched a powerful attack from above. The front riders could neither move forward nor retreat. Many cavalrymen fell after being struck by arrows, and the injured horses caused disorder throughout the unit. Meanwhile, the women of Quraysh once again began chanting to the beat of drums to keep the army's morale high. During this time, Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, moved forward like a gust of wind, raising the banner and advancing toward the enemy. Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, was still engaged in combat when a strike from his sword inflicted such a deep wound on the enemy that first his banner fell, and then he himself collapsed to the ground. After that, another man ran forward and lifted the banner. In those times, the fall of a battle flag had a great effect on the army's morale, so people repeatedly tried to raise it again. On both sides, people faced each other with passion and a desire for revenge. Swords clashed as they looked directly into each other's eyes, blood was being shed, and intense fighting continued across the battlefield. During this time, some believed that certain individuals should not personally enter direct combat because their death could affect the morale of their army, but in the intensity of the moment, they could not hold themselves back. A man rode forward on horseback and entered the battlefield while calling out boldly. Seeing him advance, His wife Hind also moved forward and once again began reciting loud verses that were meant to raise the army's spirit. But among the Muslims there was no weakness to face him. The horse charged forward rapidly, yet the battle continued with repeated attacks and defenses. Meanwhile, some Muslim warriors pushed forward and forced the enemy to retreat. Historical narrations mention that Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, was also present alongside the Messenger of Allah and stood firmly with complete loyalty and steadfastness among the Muslims. The battle grew more intense. The Muslims were fewer in number, but they compensated for this through discipline, courage, and perseverance. On the other side, the enemy kept their attention focused on the Messenger of Allah. They were looking for an opportunity to create weakness in the Muslim ranks. At the same time, cavalry units attempted to advance from one side, but the 50 archers positioned on the hill attacked them and forced them to retreat. One man kept looking around in search of a particular target. Some narrations mention that certain enemies tried to attack specific individuals marked by visible signs or valuable equipment, as such practices were known in Arabia at that time. The battle was moving toward its final stages. Fierce fighting was continuing on one side. One man and his opponent looked at each other one last time, and then both began striking face to face. Both were fighting with all their strength. Meanwhile, another person was slowly moving toward them. The battlefield was filled with dust and noise to such an extent that both fighters were focused only on each other. Suddenly, a powerful strike was delivered, causing the opponent to fall wounded. Hazrat Ali, may Allah be pleased with him, looked around and assessed the situation. Movement continued across the battlefield, and the intensity of war could be seen everywhere. On the other side, Muslim women were caring for the wounded, treating their injuries, and giving them water. A few women were present with the Muslims, including Hazrat Fatima, may Allah be pleased with him. Then the situation developed in such a way that, because of the Muslim attacks, the banner of Quraysh kept falling to the ground. Whenever one flag bearer fell, another would lift it, but he could not hold it for long. Eventually, a slave raised the banner, but he was also killed. The Muslims did not allow the enemy another chance to recover the flag, and this began to affect their morale. Khalid observed this scene and realized that the Muslims were pushing the enemy back.